My friends, good evening. There's a listener who contacted me and asked me the following question. I've been quietly quitting for 2 to 3 years, and now I realize that I'm losing my skills. Is it normal to lose skills when you're quietly quitting? How should I plan for what's next? Will I need to catch up or do something else later? Well, I have to answer this question because I'm one of the main advocates of quiet quitting. Because for me, when your mental health is at stake, you can start over with anything. In life, you can lose everything. There are people who were millionaires. They ended up broke. They ended up sleeping on a mattress at a friend's place. But from there, they rebuilt everything. I've rebuilt my life several times from scratch with only a backpack and a suitcase. But one very important thing, if you destroy your physical or mental health, then it's really over. So the first rule in life is to never destroy your physical or mental health. For a job, for employment, it's not worth it. Honestly, it's really not worth it at all. So if you find yourself in a situation where a job is destroying you because you're being crushed, you're being harassed, you're under pressure, the environment is toxic, and then comes the moment when it's either them or us. So ideally, it's better to change. Ideally, it's better to leave. That being said, I know how life is, and sometimes in the moment you can't change things the way you want. So that's it. You have to do it. You have to leave. In what I call a silent resignation, it means emotionally disengaging, doing the bare minimum, making sure you don't get fired, but also not dancing on the table. So now the next question is, when I was in silent resignation, my skills didn't go down. They actually improved. Why? Because, and this is very important, let me tell you something. When you have to go into a situation like silent resignation, even if you're just starting to consider it, it's that clearly, as Aznavour used to say, love is no longer being served. It means leaving the table. It means that for this job, it's over. It's finished now. Indeed, sometimes the market is bad. Sometimes we still need 6 more months of salary. We still need a year to land on our feet again. It's normal, it's okay, we do the minimum until the moment we leave because we enter a mental zone. We're no longer investing in or considering this job as a real position. I no longer see myself getting promoted. I no longer see myself increasing my salary. I no longer see myself going in that direction. The only thing I see is surviving until the moment when I have the luxury to hand in my resignation. Now, when we get to that point, there's one important thing. You have to do the minimum to free up time and mental resources. That means not reaching exhaustion on Friday night, spending the weekend sleeping, feeling anxious on Sunday night, and then going to work scared on Monday morning. No, that's not it. You need to be able to free up mental resources, hence the silent resignation, to rebuild yourself, to be able to move on. Because I know plenty of people who are trapped in their jobs. Why? Because on one hand, they want to leave, but on the other hand, to leave, they need training, they need certification, they need skills, except that this job doesn't give them the time or the energy to acquire what they need to leave. So you see, it's a vicious circle, and you have to break it somewhere. One of the ways to break it is silent quitting. So once you reduce your involvement in your work, normally what will happen is you'll start to have time. So, for example, the person who contacted me told me that her job was taking up about 30% of her resources. I reached a point, but that's really off-piste skiing. I'm triggering it. The advice didn't go that far. I got to a point where my work was taking up less than 5% of my mental resources. That means I was in a very deep state of quiet quitting. But to tell you why, my skills actually improved during that time, paradoxically, because I took advantage of that time. For example, I was in tech. What I started doing was creating labs. I convinced myself, yes, I'm creating a lab because we need to test a certain number of client scenarios. You see, actually, no, the lab was for myself. It was to learn. I had to create a complex network, add applications, add security appliances, all of that. I needed to learn and get comfortable with things so I could juggle them. I got certifications and made sure they paid for them. I needed these certifications and they always have a budget, so make sure they cover the cost. So what I did when I went into quiet quitting, it wasn't just to stay stuck in a dead-end job at VGT. No, I was preparing for what's next. So the quiet quitting, so the person told me, I stayed, it's been 2, 3 years. So I want to tell you, you've been in this for a very long time. Again, this so-called quiet quitting attitude is not something that should be stretched out over a very long period of time. No, it's something you do in the short term. I do it for 6 months. I do it, let's say, 9 months at most, really, 9 months a year, but not more. You don't do that for 5 years, that's clear. So what you do is you do it for a few months, just enough time to bounce back somewhere else, time to look for, and you do a skills assessment. If I see that I have a gap, for example, I see where I am on my resume. This is what the market is asking for. There are, for example, one or two pieces left in the puzzle. So what I do is I work on those pieces. So what I do is I work on those pieces, I develop my skills. And from there, I can bounce back and then go somewhere else. And when I go somewhere else, I'll be stronger. So my skills improved generally during periods of quiet quitting, but usually when I got into that. Like I told you, I consider that job done. It's over now. There's something important I want to tell you. You know what? Paradoxically, there were times when I was working really hard, but honestly, I'm telling you, my skills actually went down. Why? Because I was working really hard, but in a very limited area, which means I was working intensely by doing repetitive, recurring tasks that didn't use the full range of my past experience or my skills or anything else. So I was starting to lose my reflexes, lose a certain amount of knowledge and all that. And what happened? I found myself being very good, but only on a very small part of the spectrum, and I was bad at the rest. So you see, we can also look at things from the other end of the telescope. We can see that indeed, if I limit myself too much and my work is very restricted, well, that's where I lose my skills. I interviewed people in a recruitment context, and sometimes it was quite scary. Sometimes the guys were extremely limited, very, very, very narrow minded. And if we don't need that, well, that's it, right? Is it over for them? So, my friends, I hope that. Oh, sorry, there's a huge bug. I'm not really sure what it is. Anyway, here we are in the tropics, right in the middle of summer. It's extremely hot here and very humid. So, the insects, and this one is particularly huge. I don't know what it is. Okay, there are some real oddities, I assure you. It's not, there are oddities. Sometimes that's just part of life in the tropics. Thank you, my friends, for watching this video up to this point, and we'll see each other in the next one. See you very soon.